These are matrices, the way I see these things. With this, we have these synonyms, so we could have C, D, E minor, put D minor, F, G, A minor, and B diminished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and chord 7. So we have all 7 chords there, and these each we are going to equate a synonym name to them. So Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. So we've got those modes there. They're just labels, guys. Don't obsess too much about where they came from or whatever. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is that in working this out, it showed me where the notes were for the key of C major. And if you understand C major, then all you have to do is transfer that information to the other 11 keys. The beauty of all this stuff, it ties in with the L7 grid as well. And what I realised was, well, what if I take battle ends and down goes, oh, left me A out, down goes Charles's father. Well, really, what I want to do is tally this make sense. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the magic number that you need to learn. So I'm going to show you how I got to it. This B is 7. We'll write it in numbers now. 7. E is going to be 3. A is going to be 6. D is going to be 2, because it's chord 2. G is chord 5. C is chord 1. F is chord 4. This is your Nashville numbers. If you've heard of the Nashville numbering system, you can think of that in this context as well. Now, I wasn't keen on it starting on the 7. So the magic number that makes sense for me is 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3. What you want to do is you want to just break it up into phone numbers. I explained something in a lesson a while ago about chunking. If you think of your mobile number, just think of your mobile number, and in your head, when you say it, you'll probably split it into 3 chunks. You'll have the area code, then you'll split your number into 2 parts. That's a useful way of doing that. If you try to remember 6251473, one stream, it's going to be tricky. So if we learn it in 2 chunks, 6251473. Now, the reason I found that easy is because there's 6, 2, 5, 1 chord progression. That's one of the most important chord progressions in the world. And when I say in the world, I mean most used. It's used for Ave Maria. It's used by Weezer for Island in the Sun. Gary Moore, Parisian Walkways. I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. That's an important one. You can't forget that this is all about surviving with Gloria Gaynor. And if you carry on, you go through all these chords and you will get this sequence. So 6251473. 6251473. Well, what we can also do is we can take the battle ends and down goes Charles's father there, and we can assign these numbers now to the letters here. So 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. You can see now that that goes round in a circle, the magic circle there. And because this is going round in fourths, we have to do those compensations like we had here. And the compensation that we need to take account for is in between the F and the B there. We add another fret. Now we're going to assign these Roman numeral values here to our battle ends and down goes Charles's father here. This is the one that got it for me, because like I said, it was 6251. Well, in C major stroke A minor, if you will, that's going to be A minor, D minor, G, and C. So if we look here, A minor, D, G, and C. So I'm going to put that information over here. This is going to be chord 6. This is going to be chord 2. This is going to be chord 5. And this is going to be chord 1. Now, here's where the kink in the tuning comes into it, and I have to compensate by going up because of the kink in the tuning. Now here I get chord 4. But that chord 4 there is on an F. F to B, the rule is we have to go up another fret, and that gives me the next number. Look, F is a 4, and then that gives me a 7. So I'm always going to be going 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 7. 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 7. Let me just apply that to the guitar and just show you what that looks like. We're on an E string, so we can have either an E shape or a G shape. And in this instance, I'm going to use an E shape. There's my 6. Here is my 2. And then look here, 6, 2, 5. Because it's a 5, it's going to be a 7th chord. Or I could play it as a normal major like this, using a D shape there. So 6, 2, 5, 1. Now this, you think, so, oh, what chord can I make out of that? Well, it's on the G string, so it's going to be a G shape. Yeah, so I could play it like this as an inversion. I could play it like this. So 6, 2, 5, yeah, 1. Do you hear how this is going to be useful for this? 6, 2, 5, 1. That's only part of the puzzle because we've only done like one position here. But the cool thing is this ties in with the grid as well. I'll come back to that. Let's just look at this. You could fill this lot in. Take your time and you could just go, well, that's chord 3. This is chord 4. We know if we follow Battle Ends and Down Goes Charles's Father, we can apply this 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3 mnemonic to it. 3, what's going to happen? We go back to the beginning again. So we get 6. Then we're going to get 2, 5. Follow the kink in the tuning to keep us on track. 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. We're back on the 4. That tallies. If you tie that across over on the thin E string to the thick E string, you can see we get the same thing. What about this here? Chord 5. 5, 1, 4. Look at this. 5, 1, 4. I can find those there. I do get super excited about this because I'm just going to say the word synonym. 5 equals mixolydian. That's where you start your mixolydian scale. That's where you come from. That's where you play your scale. That's your chord. It's your scale. It's your arpeggio. It's all the elements of your pitch. They're the same thing. It's really not complicated. So we go 5, 1, 4. What's the next in the sequence? 5, 1, 4, 7. Remember, when we come to the 7, we've got to add 1. So look, we deal with that when we're crossing over there. So we've got the 7 there, which makes sense. You can see it's a half step away from the 1 that's here. So 7. Then we've got the kink in the tuning, so we have to compensate yet again. So we're going 5, 1, 4, 7. It's going to be 3. And that's an E because it would make sense because it's E minor. Then we're back on track again. So we go 3 and then we get 6 here again. So that ties in all the way across here. This is going to be 7. This is going to be 3. This is going to be 6. This is going to be 2. This is going to be 5. Let me just move up here. 5, 6, 7. This is an important one. If you've been with me on the previous lessons that I did, then you'll know I talked about the L7 grid. So this is how this fits in it. The way that this works is there is a compass to the guitar neck. So this way and that way, going across from the ceiling to the floor. Then what we have also is east to west, north to south, east to west. When we look at the L7 grid, we get 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, 6. If you know what I'm talking about when I mentioned the L7 grid, you see it lives here. But in this instance, it's only living on a string pair. It's living on this string pair here, on the E and the A string. And you could transfer that to other string pairs. But the thing is, you need to know where you're coming from. I've also talked about something that I call the 7-7 grid. There's 2. This is going to be 3. So I could look at it, I can go chord 2, chord 3, chord 4. But I could also use my magic number. So I've got 7, 3, 7, 3. It's going to be 6 next. It's all tallying up. 6, 2, 6, 2, 5, 1. You can see how that is going across there. But if I was to do the L7 grid, I can also do the minor. You can think of it as the 7-7 grid. You remember the 7-7 grid? It's on my channel. The 7-7 grid is that one and that one. It looks like 7 and a 7. This is L and that's a 7. That's why I call it the L7 grid. L7 grid, 7-7 grid. You start to be able to find a way to go all the way through these. Just the Rosetta Stone of the fretboard. Now, if you remember when I talked about the synonym for chords, and I talked about extending triads with a 7, chords 1 and chord 4 are always major 7s, and chord 5 is always a dominant 7th, which is your bluesy 7th chord. So if I go G, C, F here, then I can go G, that's 5. 5, 1, 4. 5, 1, 4. So I've got 5, bluesy chord, 1, it's going to be a major 7, chord 4, is a major 7. 6, we said 6, 2, 5, 1. Can you hear it? Ave Maria. Ave Maria. First I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I couldn't live without my side. And that works its way around all of these chord progressions. This lot here, guys, this will all be sliced and diced, and we'll get some handouts as well in the video descriptions that you can download for free